The family of Walt Disney and Roy Disney are finally weighing in on the proxy fight between Nelson Peltz and Bob Iger. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter from That Park Place, where we cover streaming, theme parks, video games, and the entertainment industry. Here with me today is Culture Casino. Culture, how's Culture doing?
Fantastic. I'm here to talk about grand nieces and nephews.
Aren't they grand? See, what's great is if I could anywhere else where I can ask how's Culture doing, they'll probably refer to the culture at large, and generally that's not a great answer.
Well, I just speak about myself in the third person. It's
as long as you're doing well, then Culture's doing well.
Culture's good.
There's been a lot of news stories out there. It lit up Twitter. I'm sure the Walt Disney Company will be glad to file these statements that are from the family of Walt Disney and, of course, Roy Disney. Roy Disney being the original chief financial officer of the Walt Disney Company, and Walt himself, of course, the infamous titular eponymous guy with the same name as the company. He is, of course, possibly the most important creative mind of the last 100 years, despite the fact that he passed away in the mid to late 1960s. So it should be very important for all of us to focus on the things that have been said by these grandchildren of the Walt Disney Company, of the Walt Disney and Roy Disney family. So let's focus here and see if our minds can be changed by the things that have been said by the Walt Disney Company. This from the New York Post. Disney heiress slams great uncle Walt. He bordered on rabid fascism. This from October 3rd of 2022. Wait. This might not be the right article.
No. This is a long time ago.
No. Well, this is October 3rd of 2022. That's within the last 2 years. Wait. Let's read a little bit of it here
okay.
to see if we can get some better context here on Abigail Disney's thoughts and see if we need to take a lot of stock in them. Disney heiress Abigail Disney ripped her great uncle Walt Disney for being fascist and stoking anti-Semitism and racism when he ran the company co-founded with her grandfather, Roy O. Disney. He bordered on rabid fascism, the 62-year-old heiress said of Walt Disney on Mark Maron's podcast. The wealthy film producer and activist spoke with Maron about her new documentary that takes aim at her family's company called The American Dream and Other Fairy Tales, as well as her family's battle with addiction. Disney told Maron that while her great uncle Walt was a chaotic genius, he and his brothers played up prejudices of the time. They weren't shy about. No, this must be a different one. There must be a difference. No. This is the same Disney family here. Okay, maybe. Oh, no. This is a more recent article. This from July of last year. This Disney heiress has a message for CEO Bob. Okay, great. This one's talking about Bob Iger and also Taylor Swift. See, two names that are very closely associated with the most recent Disney earnings call. Abigail Disney talks to Rolling Stone about her family company's CEO Bob Iger and his anti-strike comments, protesting private jet usage, and more. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Here's a great quote on Bob Iger and how he fits with the Walt Disney Company. I have a theory that Bob Iger retired on one planet in 2020 and came back on a new planet, and he doesn't realize he's on a new planet now, Disney tells Rolling Stone. And on this new planet, all CEOs are not magic people who are always right about everything. And sometimes on this planet, Twitter will come down on you like a ton of bricks if you misspeak. I think he's been very surprised by the way people have reacted to him. So I'm not sure. Was that the quote that we were wanting to shed light on the proxy battle?
No. There was something even more recent than that.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is another story.
I think I found it. I found it. Okay, this one. Okay, this one was published yesterday at 3:34 p.m.
Yeah, this is it.
I think this is the one we're looking for. Disney grandchildren back Bob Iger in board seat fight with Nelson Peltz. Oh my! I wonder what ray of sunshine has entered into their life to cause this turn of ideas here by Caitlin Hudson here from the Hollywood Reporter. The grandchildren of Walt Disney and Roy O. Disney are voicing their support for Bob Iger in his board seat battle against Nelson Peltz. 2 separate letters were sent to shareholders Thursday from each set of grandchildren, including Abigail Disney, who has been outspoken against Disney's recent Disney practices. In the letter, from grandchildren of Roy O. Disney, which is signed by Abigail and 3 others, the grandchildren outline the magic they experience at the company throughout their childhoods and say that Iger can continue that spirit at the company. Meanwhile, they call Peltz one of those wolves in sheep clothing and also one of the villains in a Disney story. This is fascinating to me. Bob Iger and his management team and the board of directors are faithful to this magic. They understand that the longevity of the Walt Disney Company isn't only the result of smart business decisions. It's rooted in the strong emotional connection Disney continues to forge with generations of people from around the globe. We may not agree about everything, but we know that our grandfather would be especially proud of what Disney means to the world today. We also know that, like us, he would be very concerned by the threat posed by self-anointed activist investors who are really wolves in sheep clothing, just waiting to tear Disney apart if they can trick shareholders into opening the door for them. How would Nelson Peltz be able to tear the company apart? I'm confused by this.
I am too, because like you said, and I think a very smart person tweeted today on X or whatever that's called.
I read it a little bit, yeah.
These are just 2 seats. These are 2 seats on a 12-person board. Their level of influence would just be to, I don't know, put in an occasional no vote, or perhaps suggest other options to terrible decision making that's been going on from within. Eliminate the passage of everything by, well, unanimous consent.
That is
And
really the problem at the Walt Disney Company is everything that happens appears to be by unanimous consent of the entire board. The renewal of Bob Chapek for 3 years early in a board retreat was a unanimous decision, and also the firing of Bob Chapek just a few months later was also a unanimous decision by the board. You know what that sounds to me like? And by the way, Bob Iger has record of this in his book, that sometimes the board will re-vote after the vote is completed so that they have a unanimous vote on the books.
wow, I love cronyism.
I fail to see the harm in Jay Rasulo being on the board. I fail to see the harm in Nelson Peltz being on that board. Nelson Peltz has a pretty good track record for his companies, a better track record than Disney, even when Disney wants to go into some of those minor investments by Trian. Jay Rasulo has a long history at the company, and when he left, like so many people who leave the Walt Disney, including Kevin Mayer, including Tom Staggs, including Christine McCarthy, including. So many people are on that list where they dangle the carrot of you could be the next CEO of the company. Yes, but there was a point at which Jay Rasulo was, I guess, turned down for the CEO position of the Walt Disney Company, and then he left. There's so many of those. The only one person has ever successfully gotten into that CEO position, and that, of course, was Bob Chapek, who appears to be a patsy. The thing that I'm saying here is Abigail Disney and her comments. I don't put a lot of stock in them. In fact, I'm frankly quite offended by most of her comments about Walt Disney himself. How dare you speak that way about a family member? Your own uncle. It seems like maybe this is a person who is used to having her opinions heard without having to what's the word, put guardrails on what you say.
Well, she's incredibly well protected, or has been, and the few times that she's landed herself in hot water, have been washed over rather conveniently by the press, or lack of press on those errors, including a film that she made, that she had to write an apology letter to communities that, you don't want to find yourself apologizing to, or else you're in an endless news cycle. So she oftentimes will say really, interesting things about the company, that get artificially propped up by people who just believe in one particular worldview, and she's never held accountable.
If you are interested in this kind of thing, hearing the comments of people who hold that name Disney, which by the way is a respelling of the original, I believe Disney, D apostrophe ISGNEE. a great retelling of the original Disney name there. Consider sharing this out if you know someone who is interested in this topic. Of course, like this video, but only if you like this video. And consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.